According to Aristotle, living alone requires a unique combination of strength and wisdom, as one must embody both the qualities of a beast and a god. Based on a study published in the journal PLOS Medicine in 2010, it was found that chronic loneliness can pose health risks comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In order to address the negative effects of loneliness, it is important to focus on both strengthening our social connections and enhancing our ability to spend time alone. Not everyone who is alone feels lonely. Henry David Thoreau, the philosopher, confidently declared that he never feels lonely during his extended stays at Walden Pond. "I have never encountered a companion as comforting and fulfilling as solitude." Join us in this captivating video as we delve into the profound benefits of solitude. Discover how embracing solitude can foster personal growth, unlock boundless freedom, alleviate mental health issues, and contribute to the development of a remarkable character. Loneliness and solitude are two distinct experiences. Now you have learned that. Nietzsche authored the book Solitude, A Philosophical Encounter, which includes his famous work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. According to philosopher Philip Core, solitude is a state of being where one is disconnected from others in terms of perception, thought, emotion, and action. Solitude is a unique realm where the presence of others is noticeably absent. That is sufficient for the tranquility that remains unwavering in every moment of seclusion. Many of the great figures of history achieved their legendary status by embracing the advantages of spending extended periods of time alone. Jesus' 40-day struggle with the devil in the desert propelled him to new spiritual heights. Lao Tzu, Buddha, and Moses discovered profound moral visions during moments of solitude that shaped their entire existence. Marcus Aurelius, Friedrich Nietzsche, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Albert Camus, Henry David, Thoreau, and many other philosophers found solace in solitude, using it as a sanctuary to nurture their character and deepen their philosophical insights, shielded from the negative impact of society. Take Nietzsche, for instance. He famously observed that when one finds themselves in the midst of a crowd, they tend to conform to the collective mindset, suppressing their true thoughts and individuality. Over time, it often feels like there's a desire to exile me from my own being and strip away my very essence. I then need the desert to rejuvenate. Admiral Richard Byrd experienced a challenging winter in the Antarctic, facing extreme cold, extended periods of darkness, and an overwhelming sense of isolation that seemed to last an eternity. However, instead of feeling lonely, this period of intense solitude had a profound impact on his life. As he expressed in his book, solitude turned out to be even more profound than he had expected. "I'm experiencing a shift in my perspective, and ideas that were once unclear are now becoming more defined in my mind. What causes certain people to flourish in solitude, while others struggle with the burden of loneliness? In simple terms, those who feel lonely may not fully understand the benefits of being alone or how to make the most of their solitude. Above all, one of the greatest benefits of being alone is the opportunity to truly understand ourselves and embrace our true selves." According to the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, a person can truly be themselves only when they are alone. If they do not enjoy being alone, they will not appreciate the concept of freedom, as true freedom is experienced in solitude. Constraint is an ever-present aspect of society, like a constant companion that cannot be escaped. And as a person's individuality grows, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to handle the sacrifices that come with interacting with others. To truly understand the freedom that comes with solitude, let's reflect on the limitations that often come with social interactions. Friends, family, and romantic partners play a crucial role in a fulfilling life, but they can also bring about certain expectations and obligations, as Philip Koch pointed out. Desires to be heard and understood, with a level of attention that matches their high expectations. They seek to be supported and guided in a way that meets their specific needs, allowing them to progress at their own speed. In addition, the feelings of others can impact our own experiences. When people around us are happy and positive, it has a way of brightening our own spirits. Conversely, When someone is in a negative or gloomy mood, it tends to have a dampening effect on our own emotions. Regardless of the situation, our emotional state is not self-contained, but rather influenced by the individuals around us, or our levels of procrastination. They are not enjoying themselves, and it's hard for me to have fun when they're not. If I can ensure that they enjoy themselves, then I can also enjoy their company. Making sure they enjoy themselves is anything but easy. It requires a lot of effort. Even unfamiliar individuals can impact our experience. Imagine yourself alone in a park, as the philosopher John Paul Sartre suggests. We are thoroughly relishing our time amidst the trees, basking in the warm glow of the sun, and delighting in the melodic songs of the birds. They are meant solely for our enjoyment, until another person takes a seat on the bench opposite us. We realize that we are now a subject of someone else's awareness, which interrupts our peaceful connection with the surroundings. Similarly, psychologist William James highlighted the sense of disappointment that arises when a lone hiker spots another hiker approaching in the distance. He suddenly becomes more self-aware and restricted, unable to fully express himself. This is the concept that Sartre was trying to convey with his famous phrase about the nature of human interaction. According to Sartre, when we encounter other people, we are inevitably forced to evaluate ourselves from their perspective, as if we were mere objects in their eyes. In solitude, there are no limitations or restrictions. Solitude is defined by a sense of liberation and a level of freedom that cannot be achieved in social interactions. When we are alone, we can fully immerse ourselves in our surroundings without the constant reminder that we are being observed by others. We have complete freedom to pursue our desires and make our own choices without any restrictions. We are free to think and feel as we please, and pursue our passions without worrying about the opinions or expectations of others. Is it free? It can be a bit unfamiliar at first. You are free to move in any direction without any restrictions. William Hazlitt, the English philosopher, had a penchant for embarking on solitary strolls, relishing in the liberating embrace of solitude. And as he observed, the essence of embarking on a solo adventure is freedom. Complete freedom to think, feel, and do exactly as one desires. For once, I would love to have complete control over everything, but achieving this is only possible when you are by yourself. Or is Philip Core being observed? Thoreau observed, "I have a unique freedom to come and go in nature." That's absolutely correct. But what's the reason behind it? One clear point is the freedom from the societal constraints that dictate our interactions with others. When you're alone, you have the freedom to express yourself however you please, without any inhibitions. Freedom of movement is a metaphor that resonates with the idea of spiritual freedom, allowing our spirits to wander, ramble, leap, or soar. The value of solitude lies not only in its inherent freedom, but also in its ability to foster self-discovery and personal growth. When we find ourselves in solitude, free from the expectations and limitations of society, we have the opportunity to truly connect with our inner selves, as Philip Core referred to it as attunement. According to his explanation, attunement to self can be best described as a state of free flow. It involves being fully aware of one's thoughts, desires, and emotions without any sense of censorship or control, united in a seamless journey back to their roots. Exploring the depths of our emotions, thoughts, desires, and inner images allows us to connect with parts of ourselves that we often hide behind societal expectations. However, when we find ourselves alone, we have the freedom to remove our masks and listen only to the voice of our conscience, without any need to answer to anyone else. After a long and challenging relationship, the novelist May Sarton decided to spend a significant amount of time in complete solitude. As she expressed in Journal of a Solitude, "I am starting to feel a sense of renewed vitality, reconnecting with a part of myself that has been neglected and worn down for quite some time." Where can we find the influence of American philosopher Thomas Merton in The Silent Life? Every person, regardless of their calling, requires moments of silence and solitude to listen to their inner voice and discover their true selves. Life becomes a constant struggle and drain when one fails to listen to their inner voice. When individuals are consistently separated from their own dwellings, barred from their own inner peace, they lose touch with their true selves. His existence has transcended the boundaries of humanity. The voices we hear when we are alone, though, are not always pleasant. At times, reconnecting with ourselves means confronting past traumas and facing the uncomfortable emotions, fears, and anxieties that we have been avoiding by getting caught up in the distractions of society. The state of inner attunement can vary in its emotional quality. Sometimes it's about experiencing the intense conflicts and emotions portrayed in the animations of mortality that we've been avoiding. Feelings of longing, anger, envy, reliance, and distance can be navigated without harm when the individuals who may inadvertently or harmfully provoke them are not present. Although the conflicts and emotions that arise when we are alone can be painful, they also provide us with an opportunity to directly address them. And if we take advantage of this chance to embrace stillness and let our worries and troubling emotions flow through us, we can work through, resolve, let go of them, and find healing for the ongoing mental health issues they were causing. According to Albert Camus, when someone truly learns how to endure their suffering and resist the urge to escape, they have reached a point where there is little left for them to learn. The healing power of solitude is truly remarkable. Dr. Shoma Marita, a Japanese physician, has pioneered a unique approach to psychotherapy that draws inspiration from Zen Buddhism. Instead of relying on traditional therapeutic methods or medication, Dr. Marita's approach involves creating a space of solitude for patients. In this environment, patients are encouraged to confront the suffering they have been avoiding. Or, according to I.L. Savith's explanation upon his arrival at the hospital, the neurotic patient needs to have complete bed rest for a week. During this period, he is prohibited from socializing with anyone else. He is not allowed to engage in any activities that involve reading, writing, smoking, using the telephone, listening to the radio, or watching television. The patient is left to confront his illness in solitude, eventually merging with it. He must come to terms with his illness on his own. In many ancient cultures, solitude was highly esteemed and considered to be even more valuable than social interaction. Within the Tarahumara Indians of the Sierra Madre in Mexico, Professor J. Ralph Audi observed a remarkable devotion to solitude. And as he carries on, a young child of the 6th of May enjoy his portion of pinole and venture off with the sheep for a week or two, completely isolated from any human contact until he eventually comes back. Many Indians are more comfortable living in solitude and may feel awkward and unsure when it comes to engaging in conversation with others. Even in cultures where people lived more communally, individuals would sometimes spend extended periods of time alone to help them navigate significant life changes. As an illustration, solitary quests played a crucial role in the rites of passage, facilitating the transition from adolescence to manhood for young boys. For a video, a young boy was brought to a remote camp in the wilderness. He spent extended periods of time by himself, occasionally for several months. He was completely self-reliant, creating or discovering everything he required to survive. He engaged in hunting, foraging, self-defense against predators, and confronting his fears of the unknown and darkness. He went through a process of self-reflection and overcame his feelings of loneliness, anxieties, and dependencies. He was able to transform his mindset from being his own worst enemy to becoming a trusted ally. Only those who accomplished this challenging endeavor were regarded as true individuals by the society. According to James Hollis, ritual isolation serves as a gateway to a fundamental truth. Regardless of our social connections, we ultimately embark on our journey alone and must find inner strength and comfort. The boy had to rely on his intelligence, bravery, and weaponry in order to survive. Throughout history, solitary quests have been widely accepted and embraced in various cultures around the world. However, it seems that our culture has not followed this tradition. This highlights our society's aversion to being alone. Instead of being valued as a precious gift, solitude is often viewed as a mere inconvenience, something to be tolerated until the next social gathering or relationship comes along. In some cases, people even go out of their way to avoid being alone when others are not around. Many of us spend hours fixated on screens, seeking solace from our solitude and the potential echoes of silence. Maybe this widespread aversion to being alone is why mental illness and vulnerability have become so common.